Yo, what's up, everybody? Erskine the Prophet here. Today, I'm here to do a UFC video again. This video is going to be titled, GSP is not the welterweight GOAT. Kamaru Usman is. And the reason I felt the need to make this video, because it's like Kamaru Usman himself has said, he just doesn't get the respect that he's due. And Kamaru Usman is one of the best mixed martial artists ever. You know what I'm saying? I can't take nothing away from this guy. So I know I'm about to hurt a couple of GSP fanboys. I'm gonna break a couple of y'all hearts. But it is what it is. Hopefully, I can teach you something about mixed martial arts, and hopefully you can learn something. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put up a picture of GSP's record. And I want y'all to take a look at the people he last defended against, during his welterweight run. We have, in case y'all can't see it, it's Johnny Hendricks, Nick Diaz, Carlos Condit, Jake Shields, Josh Koscheck, and Dan Hardy. Okay, now I'm gonna put up Kamaru Usman's last defenses and let y'all take a look at this. Now, just in case you can't see the names again, I'm gonna read them off for you. Gilbert Burns, Jorge Masvidal, Kobe Covington, Tyrone Woodley, Rafael Dos Anjos, Damian Maia. Now, I want y'all to think about the names I read off for GSP and think about the names I just read off for Kamaru Usman. And that in itself, to me, is why Kamaru Usman is the welterweight GOAT. See, a lot of y'all are thinking of quantity. I'm thinking of quality. Y'all thinking of how many. I'm thinking of how good were the few. And that's why I have Kamaru Usman as the welterweight GOAT. Not because he don't have as many defenses as George St. Pierre did, but the quality of fighters that he's beaten is well above and beyond anybody GSP ever fought in his entire career. Every guy on the list that Kamaru Usman beat would not only beat all of the guys that GSP beat, but probably, I think GSP would have a tough time with any of the guys that Kamaru Usman beat. If Kamaru Usman and GSP were to fight, Kamaru Usman would destroy GSP. So I guarantee you, no matter what, GSP will never ever come back and fight Kamaru Usman. That I know for a fact. Unless maybe the UFC could lure him out with, a couple $1 million, he might take that chance, but GSP has nothing in his arsenal that can defeat Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman is the much better fighter. Now, I'm going to tell y'all a little something about how this kind of works. This whole GOAT conversation, who's the best of all. It's hard to compare somebody from a previous generation to somebody of the current generation because the fighters always evolve and get better. So every time a new champ comes along, he's probably going to be better than the previous champ. And I'm going to say this just doesn't even apply to Kamaru Usman. This even applies to Israel Adesanya. Anderson Silva is not the GOAT anymore, in my opinion. Israel Adesanya is the GOAT now because if you look at the people he just knocked out Paulo Costa and Robert Whittaker. Two monsters. Anderson Silva never fought anybody on that caliber. And if you look at the people that Anderson Silva has fought, and he's got beaten up by pretty much everybody, he can't even make it past the gatekeepers. So there's no way he's going to fight the top echelon of the middleweight division like, Israel did. And not only did Israel fight him, he knocked out the last two people he fought. So if you ask me, Anderson Silva don't compare. Well, he did fight and Israel beat him. And I think Israel kind of went easy on him. I think Israel really could have knocked him out if he wanted to. But it's like he just kind of took it easy on him. So, Israel is definitely the new GOAT, in my opinion, based on, even though he don't have as many defenses, the quality of his defenses are far above and beyond Anderson Silva's. But anyway, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on Izzy because the video was about Kamaru Usman. And I just want to say something. I know a lot of y'all probably saw the fight between Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns. And that right there should have solidified for everybody just how good Kamaru Usman really is. Because let me explain to y'all something about Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is a fucking savage. That loss I guarantee you Gilbert Burns, if unless, his mind gets messed up from that loss, If he can stay focused, get back on track, get back on the horse, Gilbert Burns is gonna still run through most of the welterweight division because he's just that good. Gilbert Burns made a classic mistake against Kamaru Usman. A classic mistake that comes a lot of times from emotion. Basically, Gilbert Burns hurt Kamaru Usman and then kept trying to hurt him. I see a lot of fighters do that all the time, and they end up blowing their load, blowing their wide like Gilbert Burns did. He blew his wide in the first round, hunting Kamaru Usman with power shots because he hurt him early. So he kept trying to hurt him. And he by the time he got to the second round, he ain't have nothing left. And that's why Kamaru Usman picked him apart in the second round and knocked him out in the third. Gilbert was done. He burnt up all his energy in the first round. I see it happen all the times. I guarantee you that if Gilbert works his way back to another title shot, it'll be a totally different fight than what you just saw. He just made the classic mistake that a lot of fighters make. Now, speaking of Gilbert Burns, I would love to see him fight Leon Edwards, primarily because I don't like Leon Edwards and I want to see him get his ass tore out the frame. But I will say this, if Leon Edwards is able to beat Gilbert Burns, he should get a title shot. I feel that Leon Edwards has to at least beat one person in the top 10 to get a title shot. Same thing for Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy shouldn't get a shot either. He should at least have to beat somebody in the top 5, to get a title shot. So, speaking of that, Kamaru Usman has called out my favorite fighter in the UFC, Jorge Masvidal. Now, because Jorge Masvidal is my favorite, it doesn't mean that I don't really like Kamaru Usman too. I like a whole lot of fighters in the UFC. But Jorge is my dude. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, I listen to these idiot commentators during the Kamaru Usman-Gilbert Burns fight. I'm going to tell you, man, these commentators are really starting to get on my nerves, man. They say some really dumb shit. It's like I don't even think Fat Boy DC even respects the job at all, to be honest. But let me just address something he said. He said that Kamaru Usman wants to fight Jorge Masvidal because it's an easy fight and it's for a lot of money. They did a lot of pay-per-view buys their last fight. Let me explain something to y'all right now. Jorge Masvidal gave Kamaru Usman his toughest fight ever. I even said in my previous video about the best punches in the UFC, I said in that video that Kamaru Usman really disappointed me in that fight. Kamaru Usman wasn't throwing no jabs at Jorge Masvidal, if y'all didn't notice. Kamaru Usman couldn't take Jorge Masvidal down, even though Masvidal is significantly smaller than Kamaru Usman. He still couldn't take him down. All he could do in that entire fight was hold him against the cage and stomp his feet for 5 rounds. That's all Kamaru Usman did in that fight. So when these guys are saying that Kamaru Usman dominated Jorge Masvidal, I'm like, what the hell fight did y'all watch? What did y'all watch? That fight was so bad. I wanted to go back and watch it again, but I refused to sit through that shit for 5 rounds. I can't do it. That's how bad that fight was. That fight was terrible. So it makes perfect sense for me, for Kamaru Usman to call Jorge Masvidal out. And I do believe we're gonna see a different fight than we saw that first fight. And it might go either way. Jorge Masvidal might get dominated for real this time, or he might not. They both are I'm gonna say this, man, Kamaru Usman is the complete package. He has everything. He has size, he has strength, he has quickness, he has a very high ring IQ, he has technique, he can box, he can wrestle, he can do it all. Jorge Masvidal, on the other hand, is also a complete fighter. But it's a little different with Jorge Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal is not really gonna try to take you down like Usman will. Jorge Masvidal is the best striker in the UFC. So even though Usman definitely has an advantage in wrestling, Masvidal has an advantage in striking, which is why Kamaru held him against the cage the last fight. Jorge Masvidal is so fast. He's even faster than Kamaru. So in a striking match, Kamaru don't have much of a chance against Jorge. And Jorge is not the type of fighter. He's a lot smarter he's not gonna blow his wad in the first round because, his IQ is off the charts as well, just like Kamaru Usman. So I'm gonna tell y'all, in a rematch, it's really a pick'em, but don't think that Jorge Masvidal can't win that fight. I believe Jorge Masvidal can beat about anybody, in the welterweight division, to be honest, because of his speed and his technique and his accuracy. I mean, this dude is off the chain with his striking. And I thought Conor was good, but Jorge Masvidal, I believe, is a level even above Conor McGregor. So I'm gonna tell y'all, I really hope they make that fight. I hope nobody don't back out. I think Jorge Masvidal really wants his shot at the welterweight title again. You know, he called for it when he lost the first one. So hopefully they go ahead and make it happen. I would love to see this fight. And unlike them idiot broadcasters, this ain't about just money. This is about legacy. This is about pride. Kamaru Usman is going to be in a position, if he's not there already, to where he's going to, be able to make whatever money he wants. Because to be honest, in terms of respect, Kamaru Usman is just as good as Khabib, just as good as Izzy, just as good as anybody else who's getting prominence right now. Kamaru Usman should get just as much as respect as these other champions. Stipe Miocic, but he's not. I think he will now after what he did to Gilbert Burns. I think people are finally gonna see just how good Kamaru really is. Like I said, I love Jorge, but I like Kamaru a whole lot too. That dude is a beast. And like I said in the first part of the video, GSP. I don't care about the Josh Koscheck's and fucking Nick Diaz. What do you think would happen if Nick Diaz fought Kamaru Usman? He would get battered, bloodied, and ragdolled. Ditto for Carlos Condit. Jake Shields would get knocked into the next. None of these dudes would even come close. I don't even think none of these dudes could beat Colby Covington, to be honest. Or Gilbert Burns. Or Jorge Masvidal. And maybe not even Tyron Woodley, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't name him, but Kamaru Usman's already beaten Leon Edwards, just so y'all know. And this is when Kamaru wasn't even as good as what he is now. So, honestly, if Leon Edwards did get a title shot, I would expect him to get taken apart, picked apart. I believe Gilbert Burns would pretty much wreck Leon Edwards, to be honest. So, him sitting around hoping, by being the last person left, he's gonna get a title shot. I really hope that doesn't happen. But anyway, I did it again. Back to my original, point and title of the video, why Kamaru Usman is the GOAT. It's because, like I said before, it's about quality and not quantity. Kamaru Usman is the best welterweight I've ever seen in the UFC. Outside of my man Jorge. But the problem, I'm gonna tell y'all this. Jorge is my dude, but I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. Jorge is very undersized in the welterweight division. And all of these guys at the top of the division, like Kamaru, Gilbert, Colby Covington, Tyron Woodley, these guys are really, really strong wrestlers. And I think that could pose a problem somewhat for Jorge, having to constantly deal with them trying to shoot on him. But with that said, Jorge Masvidal has excellent takedown defense. Kamaru Usman couldn't take him down in that first fight. Or if he did, maybe he took him down once, but he couldn't hold him down for sure. The only thing I remember about that fight, to be honest, is Masvidal being held against the cage and getting his feet stomped, which really wasn't a good look for Kamaru. So anyway, I know I'm sure I done pissed off a lot of people. I promise y'all, I really hope that after Kamaru fights Jorge Masvidal, I hope and pray that there's some way the UFC can lure GSP out of retirement to fight Kamaru Usman, so I can prove to all of y'all just how right I am. Because I know what's gonna happen to GSP. He can't do nothing with Kamaru. I promise y'all that. He will get wrecked against Kamaru Usman. No doubt in my mind. So yes, Kamaru Usman is the new welterweight GOAT. Just like Stipe's the heavyweight GOAT, just like Izzy's the middleweight GOAT. Khabib's the lightweight GOAT. And let's see, which one of the light heavyweight? John Jones is still the light heavyweight GOAT because, he did so much. And honestly, Mighty Mouse is still the bantam. Is bantam? No, flyweight. Man, I can't even keep up with all these weight classes. Mighty Mouse is still a GOAT. I think it's flyweight, if I'm not mistaken. And honestly, man, I'm gonna tell y'all, for featherweight, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna say Max Holloway is the featherweight GOAT for now. Yeah, even though I know a lot of y'all, see, Max never got knocked out by nobody. So that's why I'm naming him the featherweight GOAT. He got beat like very, very closely. And I think that's all of the GOATs. I think I got everybody. Bantamweight, there is no bantamweight GOAT. to be honest. So hopefully that maybe Peter Yan will end up being the bantamweight GOAT. You know, time will tell. He's fighting Aljamain Sterling next, so we'll see. But anyway, y'all, I just wanted to say, you know, no, I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings or offend anybody who, you know, who thinks GSP is the GOAT. And let me say, I'm not trying to downplay GSP at all. GSP is one of the greatest welterweights ever, of all time, no doubt. But now it's just that he's number 2 instead of number 1. We got a new number 1, and his name is Kamaru Usman. If anybody, you know, has any disagreements, please post some comments. You know, keep it friendly, cool. You know, I'm not trying to get in any arguments with anybody or harsh language. You know, we can, you know, disagree agreeably, friendly. Please like the video, and please subscribe. I need subscribers and I need likes, y'all. I do. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Everybody, please stay safe, stay healthy, stay strong. Peace.